Roadblock, WZMX 93.7 FM HD3 Hartford.
You're in my life, and I'm so satisfied. Your love and mine, two hearts that are entwined. So many times I thought I never find what I'm searching for. I wanna say tonight, you were the one to restore my love. Baby, tonight, all I want is you and I. You are the one I will love until the end of time. Baby, tonight, let me take your hands in mine. For you are the one I will love until the end of time. I know that life is hard without someone to give your heart. I'm gonna take this time to say what is on my mind. So many times I thought I never find what I'm searching for. See, to love someone is sometimes easier said than done. Baby, tonight, all I want is you and I wanna show you my love. I will love you till the end of time. Baby, tonight, let me take your hands in mine. I wanna tell you my love. I will love you till the end of time. So many times I thought I never find what I'm searching for. I'm gonna take this time, for you are the one who restored my love. Baby, tonight, all I want is you and I to cherish our love, show feelings that we just can't hide. Baby, tonight, all I want is you and I.
Roadblock Radio. Island Mix Weekends.
You were right before my eyes, but yet you took me by surprise. You are the woman I see at nights before I sleep. Baby, please don't ever leave me lonely, 'cause all my love is for you only. I wanna spend my life with you. I'll never ever make you blue, no, no. 'Cause after one glance in your warm and sexy brown eyes, I couldn't stop thinking of you, no matter how I tried. At the mention of your name, my emotion goes insane. Girl, I've got to get you now. I can't let you go, no, no. Girl, I got to get you now. Please don't pass me by. Let me shower you with blessing, my love. Lots of hugging and kissing, my love. Baby, baby, please relieve the pain and set me free. Please don't ever leave me lonely.
All right.
All my love is for you only. I wanna spend my life with you. I'll never, never make you blue, no, no.
And let me say a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Community Connection Live here on Roadblock Radio. We have all the hosts and guests line up to begin the broadcast just about 10 minutes after 2 o'clock. And, of course, Garfield, the cool one, here in studio. And, of course, we have Roslyn Smith. We have Mo there. And, of course, we have our guest, Cynthia Wilson, hanging on. And, of course, we're going to bring them in momentarily. So let me say good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here on Roadblock Radio. Roslyn, good afternoon to you and your guest.
Good afternoon, Garfield. It is always a pleasure to hear your voice and to be a part of the program. So much happening in the world and so much to get into. How are you feeling on this
Feeling great.
February afternoon? That's
Yeah.
good. Are you full of love? How was your
Yeah.
Valentine's Day?
Yeah. It was quiet. It's a good feeling to get a 40-degree weather without freezing. So I'm pretty good.
Yes, it's a blessing. I'm finding that this winter has been so severe in terms of temperatures. It has me looking forward to anything 30 and over, I think is great weather,
It's in, it,
relatively speaking
yeah,
now.
it's Indian summer for us now.
Exactly. Even though I know Mo probably has a perspective, he loves to remind me that geographically speaking, he's in a much milder climate.
Mo, you're muted. All right. It seemed like he's frozen there.
That's all right. Yeah, I think he got a little frozen, but that's all right. We will certainly hear from Mo, and then you know what? I don't want to delay us because there is so much happening in the world, such that I am so ecstatic about our guest today, Cynthia Wilson, who is a faith-driven leader, a longtime community advocate, and former collegiate athlete. She is from the great city of Minneapolis, where she leads the NAACP. And as you know, Garfield, each week we've had some national political strategists come on the program and talk about what has happened in Minneapolis as a part of a larger conversation about immigration policy and reform in this country. And so I thought it was pertinent to bring someone on our program who is on the ground and who is a part of such a wonderful legacy of civic engagement, right? When we think about the NAACP and what it has meant historically for people of color, because we know that even though the organization has focused a lot on issues that we think of as African American, had it not been for the contributions of African Americans and a lot of civic organizations parallel to NAACP, there are many groups, right, that have since come to this country that wouldn't have a leg to stand on without that foundational work. And now that we're at this critical point in time where we kind of see a regression in civil liberties, I thought it was important to have someone like herself on and for us to talk through what the current temperature is in Minneapolis surrounding ICE. We've seen news reports that they're withdrawing federal agents, but I'm just curious, and Cynthia, I'm going to allow you to jump in to just give us your thoughts on what's currently happening and how is it impacting local communities.
Well, first, let me just say thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And it is a beautiful 53-degree day. Yesterday was 52, so today is 53. Snow is melting. You don't have to wear a coat today. So that alone, it brings a sense of peace and appreciation to the city of Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota. The temperature right now is there's still some protesting going on, but for the most part, I believe what the community did this go around, and what I mean by this go around is because we experienced the George Floyd incident, the killing, and it prepared us, I believe, and when I say us, I'm talking about the Black community.
Recording in progress.
It prepared us for what we just experienced with the two Caucasians that were murdered at the hand of ICE. But that being said, what I was really thankful and appreciative of, and actually being thankful to be a Minnesotan, was to see how the community engaged, supported, how they took on the needs of our fellow neighbor, how we supported each other, made sure that there was food, people who couldn't get out or were afraid to get out, providing rides for children to school, picking children up from the bus stop. Just the banding together of the community and loving your neighbor as yourself. I was impressed by that. And the peaceful protests. And just like anything else, you're going to have a few folks here and there that are going to agitate the situation a bit. But for the most part, it was peaceful. And I think the whole idea of what the government wanted and their premise behind sending ICE to Minneapolis failed. Because they wanted us to uprise again. They wanted us to fight. They wanted us to burn things. They wanted us to just really act violently. And we chose not to do that. And because what we chose not to do, I believe, had a huge impact on not just the state of Minnesota or the city of Minneapolis, but on the country at large, because people recognized what we were doing. So I believe we ultimately have become, or is becoming, the template of how to respond in situations and circumstances. And so when I saw the other protests that were happening really nationwide, and even worldwide, impressed me to see people also doing the same thing, protesting peacefully, and acknowledging that if this can happen on our own soil in America, it's not just going to happen at Minnesota. You're one state away. And so just, I believe, providing that template to the country and to the world, how to respond in a situation like this, I think was really impactful, and I think shedded a new light on how to respond to the government. We don't have to take what the government says. We don't have to do, and I'm not saying just be rebellious, but I'm saying know your rights. Have a camera if you can and have it running at all times. Be respectful to authority, right? But also recognizing that we do have rights. And I think some of the things that took place with ICE was that they came under this the idea that whatever they did, they could do. And there was going to be no consequences or accountability for it. And so because of that, what ended up happening was, innocent people were killed. And they felt like, hey, we can go pull you out of your car. We can go bust in your doors. All of these things that they thought they could do were unconstitutional. And so I think people who knew their rights were standing by their rights and standing on their rights, and recognized how it was impactful in doing such. And so by doing the things that they knew were right, i.e. protesting peacefully, I think triggered something to the government that we're not going to bow to just anything that you say. We're not going to allow you to come into our cities and our states and just run roughshod, and we, the people, are just going to sit there and take it. No, we are going to stand up for our brothers. We're going to stand up for our neighbors. We are going to intercede, and we're going to let the world see how you're responding to us, how the government sent, and I said, put a hit out on your own American soil. And we weren't going to stand for that. So I was appreciative of what I saw and how the city and the communities worked together to make sure that we were going to make sure everybody was okay and safe, and however that meant it, be it food, be it groceries, be it transporting, whatever it was, we were going to do that for our fellow man.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Minneapolis is a very special city for a lot of different reasons. As a matter of fact, There is a faith leader that I follow who's based there by the name of Apostle Joshua Giles rather. And I've learned a lot about the history of the city from him and how it has historically kind of been a gateway and a testing ground. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, to your point, the city was front and center in the aftermath of George Floyd, and now is in the national and international spotlight again because of what happened, under this current administration. So I know there's nothing that really can prepare a community for the type of invasion that occurred. But because you all have kind of lived through it, and in addition to the things that you said about kind of knowing how to use your phone camera and etc., what, if anything, can leaders across the country do to try to prepare? Because we don't know where the next target will be, but it's clear that there is an agenda coming from Washington, and that communities should prepare given what we now know, and we know it because of what happened in Minnesota.
Right. Well, my hope is that people can prepare based on what they saw us do in terms of how we protested, making sure that you're not agitating and what comes with agitation, right? Because you're going to get some people who are going to go against the grain, right? But ideally, if you're protesting, let people know. I mean, we had people who went and bought whistles and provided whistles to neighbors and said, if you see something, blow the whistle. So we're preparing other people that ICE is here. They're coming, stay in your house, or whatever the case may be. I think that there were some strategies that were used this go around to help the community stay intact, stay vigilant, but also do it in a way that was going to be productive. We didn't want any other killings, but what we did recognize and see was that this was not what our administration expected as well. And because it went contrary to what their expectations were, they did something completely out of the ordinary, and I believe ultimately caused the administration to look bad to the point that they said, we have to do something. This is really putting a dark cloud over the president. We have to do something. So I think that's what, ignited this quick response to getting some of the troops out. And but I received another email from our mayor's office indicating that they're taking more troops out now. And I think we're going to be like somewhere right around, I want to say 179, and then they're ultimately going to have those officers out as well. So we've been strategic. We've been holding our ground. We've been supporting each other. And I would be remiss to say that there's been a lot of prayer going on. We have been praying back to back. I mean, front and center, going out in the community praying, because we know that prayer changes things. And the Bible speaks that the prayers of the righteous avail much. And so we've been praying, and I believe that's also the result of what we're seeing.
Right. And when you think about the legacy of resistance in this country when it comes to people of color and Black folks in particular, I mean, when you just consider that legacy, what does this moment really mean, right? Like, where do we go from here? And when you talk about the impact on your community, just help people really humanize and understand, like, there's a healing process that comes after this occupation, right?
Absolutely. And, what's unfortunate, though, is that every time we heal, we get re-traumatized. So it opens up those wounds again. But the good thing about healing, that's why it's ING, it's ongoing. It's ongoing. So we're continuing to heal. But I believe that not only are we healing, but we're learning something through the healing. Through every incident or situation that happens, we're learning and we're growing. And because we're growing, I believe that we're not only helping to change the narrative about of of protesting, how to protest, but also how we can stand up for our rights, and how we can also hold the administration, the government, whomever, accountable.
Absolutely. And I know we have to take a quick break in a couple of minutes, but I wanted to give either Garfield or Mo an opportunity to respond and engage with our dynamic guests.
Good afternoon, President Wilson. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. The question I want to ask is a little removed from where we are right now, but in the last year, what has been happening with the growth of NAACP? Are you noticing more younger folk becoming more engaged? Have you noticed in the last 6 months, based on all of the fun things happening, that there's been an improvement in the outreach of people coming into the NAACP? How has that been working so far?
Okay, so I would say it kind of depends. We're seeing young people, yep. But I think the mid-aged folks are hanging around. They're the frontline workers. And again, we're all volunteers, so we don't get paid to do this work. So if you know some folks who wants to donate to a great cause, send them our way. But we're now starting to see the activity of the young people. But I think having them understand and be educated around the areas of the NAACP. Because I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound kind of strange, but I was shocked probably 2-3 years ago that the number of people, Black folks, who are not aware of the NAACP, what the organization is, what it stands for, any of that. So we've been going to high schools, we've been going to the college campuses to have clinics to address who we are, what we are, excuse me, the various committees that we have, so that we can get people on board to engage our community. Because without volunteers, this work is not going to get done. So we're constantly in need of anybody. And we take, it doesn't matter who you are. They started, I believe, as young as 13 for the youth in college committee. So I'm seeing young people do the work. Don't get me wrong, they're out there doing the work. They're engaged in the community. But as far as them connecting to the actual organization, I think they have to be educated on who we are and what we're doing.
Hold that thought, Miss Cynthia. We'll take a break, and we'll come back on the other side, and you can extend on your answers. But we have to take a break right now. All right. So we'll be back. Word from our sponsors. And, of course, we'll take a break right now. It's Roadblock Radio, the Community Connection, live, of course, with Roslyn, Mo, and NAACP President Cynthia Wilson. We'll be right back.
Let's come together. We all should unite. Take these chains from off our feet. 'Cause we're gonna walk down Freedom Street. We're gonna walk down Freedom Street. United we stand, divided we fall. Respect your brothers, sisters, no. Let's not deal with illiteracy, no. Work it out intelligently. We're gonna walk.
We'll pick up the action in about 4 minutes. Stand by.
Down Freedom Street. Can't see clearly. I worked for that slide. It must be a vision. break these chains, the more for free. Oh no, no, we're gonna walk, 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 walk down Freedom Street, Freedom Street. We're gonna walk, 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 walk down Freedom Street, Freedom Street. We're gonna walk, 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 walk down Freedom Street, Freedom Street. We're gonna walk, 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 walk down Freedom Street, Freedom Street. Everybody walk, Freedom Street. Everybody down Freedom Street, Freedom Street. Walk and talk down Freedom Street, Freedom Street. Everybody singing and dancing down Freedom Street, Freedom Street. Let's go together.
Roadblock Radio. Island Mix Weekends.
A man must be strong to live long. Shake the negative vibe, trying to stay alive. But I never said it would be easy. Living in a system that you can't win. That by the time you roll and slow, folks hardly want to say hello. But since we've got a pride, we'll survive. We believe in the black beauty. Shake the negative vibe, try to stay alive. Wherever you go, please remember, if you can't be good, be careful, be joyful. Oh yeah, oh we've come a long way, and still here. Been through all the stress and all the stress and fears, but since we got a pride, we'll survive. We believe in the black beauty. Shake the negative vibe, try to stay alive. Whoa, wherever you go, please remember that Jai's on your side, trying to stay alive. 'Cause by the time you roll and slow, the system they don't wanna see you no more.
All right.
But since we got a pride, we survive.
We will rejoin in a minute. Stand by.
The black beauty. Shake the negative vibe, try to stay alive. My brother, move on and stand firm in your struggle. Hey, jump another hurdle, shed your burden. I might say it's easier said than done. Oh, but our race is a hard one to run. But if you got your pride, you survive. If you believe in your black beauty. Hey, na, na. A man must be strong.
All right, we are back. We're back. Welcome again to the Community Connection live here on Roadblock Radio. Roslyn, we are back. We turn it back over to you and your guest this afternoon.
Definitely. And considering that it is such a lovely day in Minneapolis, we're grateful to have the president of the NAACP, Miss Cynthia Wilson, and we're not going to keep her for that much longer. But I do have a question that I think is pertinent to the fact that I reached out, and I explained the audience that we have here at Roadblock in terms of a diverse diaspora, many people with origins in the Caribbean that have been living in this country for a long time, maybe first or second generation. And when we consider some of the rhetoric that has come out of Washington, asking people to self-deport, and not just people, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. You know, when we think about having unity, no matter where your ancestry is from, right? If you identify as a person of color, particularly Black, right? How do we encourage unity? And how can people get more engaged with the NAACP, which from my perspective already has a successful track record and blueprint, standing up to institutional power in this country?
Yeah. First of all, this is hypocrisy, at the highest level. What we're doing with immigration, because some of these same folks who are making these accusations and allegations about immigrants are married to them. And so I view that just right out the gate as hypocrisy. But in terms of unifying and unity, I just think we, the Black culture, African American, be it from the Caribbeans or wherever, we are some of the most forgiving, inclusive, embracing folks that there are. And if you take away the very fabric of unity and what makes our nation who it is, then there is no nation. There is no United States of America. We are the ones who create that. We give our country the vibrancy, the unity, all of the diverse things that we have, the people that we have, the foods, the culture, the music, all of that makes up who we are. And we're not going to allow one person to come in and take us back 400 years. We're just not going to have that. And when I speak, I know I'm speaking for the Black community. I'm speaking for diversity. I'm speaking on behalf of the NAACP. I'm speaking for our country who have done all that we can to make sure that we are diverse and that we're inclusive, and that's why people have forever tried to get to America, the land of the free. And so all of a sudden now we're going to switch up in the ninth inning that we're not going to allow folks to come here and be free. The devil is a lie.
Amen.
So we're going to maintain who we are and the position, the stance that we've taken for immigrants for forever. And we're going to continue to do what we do. And so in terms of the NAACP and of these other organizations as well, we will continue to support the immigrants and recognize that we are all from somewhere. I don't care how you scratch the surface. We are all from somewhere. And so that being said, we are all immigrants then. How about that? And so if you have some leave, then we all got to leave. And then we all have to call this place something else.
I love it. I love it. How do people stay in touch with you and learn more about your specific chapter?
Yes. So we're online. We're actually rebooting a whole new website. But you can contact me at President. It's real simple. President at MPLS. That's the abbreviation for Minneapolis. NAACP.org. So President at M as in Mary, P as in Paul, L as in Larry, S as in Sam, NAACP.org. I will respond to every email and make sure that I'm answering any of your questions or concerns to the best of my ability. And what I don't know, I will find out.
Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out to join us today. I know that you're in the role that you're in for such a time as this, and this likely will not be the last time that we communicate.
I appreciate you, Roslyn. Thank you so much for connecting and reaching out, because this is how we get out to the public who we are and what we're doing. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Garfield.
Yes.
Wow. Tell me, what did you think about Miss Cynthia?
Well, that's a story there. The folks down there in Minneapolis, they're resilient, and they stay the course without being violent and all that stuff. So I commend them for doing that.
Definitely. How about you, Mo? Have you given any thought to self-deporting? Like DC says that we should?
I'll self-deport to Thailand. I keep trying to work, and my wife is laughing, I'm sure, and she's like 2 rooms away, because I keep telling her we have to go to Thailand this year. But we always have to pull back and look at what's really happening. And it was so funny when I was in Russia, right? The American embassy in Russia told us some very specific things. It said, you're going to notice a wide variance in income disparity in this country. Don't talk about it. You're going to notice a lot of lines for basic things like food. Don't talk about it. Keep your documents on you at all time, because people will walk up to you, armed individuals, and ask you for your documents. This is just how this country runs. And you see beautiful buildings, but you see broken buildings. You go into the supermarkets and there aren't as many things on the shelves, but what you see, very expensive. You come out of, but they have restaurants, where the prices are really expensive, but you have certain types of people there, and you can tell they're wealthy. They have their guards and their drivers outside. So there's that disparity. And we were stopped, I think, about, in the time we were there, and it was for 17 days. In the 17 days, we were stopped at least 10 times. Now, what does that sound like today? It sounds like here. You go into the supermarkets, the prices are expensive. You go into some areas, they're pulling you over, armed people. And well, they always have masks in Russia, but it's a different type of mask because it's so cold. So they're doing it not because they don't want to be known. They could care less. It's just it's cold. But their lines, in fact, our food banks are the most utilized places now in America in the last 6 months. So we're seeing our buddy make this into another Russia. So when I see people standing up the way they are, it's helpful. And then the last part is why I asked about the youth. Unless our youth makes a decision to join groups, nothing will really change. That's fine.
I agree with you. Well, but what does this moment mean for Caribbean people living in the US in particular, especially, I think culturally we work so hard. We tend to have 5 jobs, and I'm trying to remember, I think it was in Living Color, where that joke about, having 5 jobs became popular. So it's a well-known thing that a lot of us, we're going to work, we're surviving. Maybe we're sending some money back home. Maybe we're trying to make a life here, raise our children. And now there seems to be a massive disruption that has occurred. So for those of us who maybe haven't been as engaged, is this like a fire truck signal that, hey, we have to get more engaged? And what does it look like to be engaged? Do we integrate ourselves into established organizations like the NAACP, and mind you, many of us are already there, but there are a lot of us who are not. Does it look like having, civic organizations that work similar to the NAACP to
We don't
represent
have
our
that.
interests? Yeah,
We
tell
don't
me,
have the
say more.
time. We don't
Okay.
have the time.
Hmm.
We, like you said, we do 5 jobs. When are we gonna have time to attend meetings?
Mm.
We on Sundays we go to church and we sleep because we know some of us work midnight Sunday night. Some of us going in 6 a.m. in the morning. It's and I'm not categorizing everyone like that, but the majority of us are like that just based on the fact that, like, you live in New York, the prices for apartments
Yes.
in New York. It's ridiculous. But then if we go out in the diaspora, there are people who are trying to be like America. I know this will annoy my Trini friends, but do you know there are banks who only allow you to withdraw up to $200 a day? Do you know that if you try to enhance the way you're living, they just will block your cards? You know that they're one of the countries that were like lockstep with Trump when he was getting into Venezuela. So you have to look at who you choose to lead you, and you have to get rid of the people that are not giving you what you excuse me ask for to build your country. I was so disappointed in Trinidad. I can't get any more disappointed if I tried. And you know me, I always speak straight. They are damaging their individuals in their country, keep them at a certain financial level so they can squeeze them. That's not who we are. That's never been who we are. But we're seeing people following the most awful behaviors because they want to be seen as connected to my country, to Guyana. The president, he wants to open up his jail so that they can bring ICE prisoners there too. That's despicable. So I'm not going to talk about one and not talk about the other, but we are having some individuals in charge of who we are that are disrespectful to the ideas and commitments and cultures that we know that we have in our lives. So this is a pathetic time right now. And yes, we need to find a way to combat it. But how do we when we have 5 jobs?
Right. And that's something I definitely am praying for guidance on, particularly as the landscape shifts, both locally, nationally, and internationally, right? Because you talked about Trinidad and they're kind of acquiescing, to this administration, where concurrently we have legacy allies saying publicly that they have lost a lot of confidence in the United States. So it makes me question, for that particular prime minister of Trinidad, who are you aligning with? And are you going to be on the winning side? Because I think there's a lot of Americans now who are looking at the collapse of the rules-based order and questioning, wait, are we going to be on the winning side of this thing? And what does that mean for the quality of life for the average American going forward?
Yeah, you're 100% right. Godfrey,
So
what do you think?
Yeah, Garfield, tell us.
Garfield.
I think we have to find a way to balance it. Some people have 2, 3 jobs, yes, but you have others who only have 1 job. And I think those are the people that we probably need to take charge and kind of build it so that other people will join in. Even if you have 3 jobs, you find a way. Maybe you can attend every meeting, but to stay relevant, maybe attend a meeting once a month. But if that's what it takes to come together and to unite, then hey, we have to try that, should we?
Right. And another thing we talk a lot about on this program is civic engagement and voting, right? And so this year in particular is the midterm elections where every seat in the House of Representatives is up for grabs. I wonder what would it look like if we could get our community to participate in larger numbers. And I'm excited because a guest that we do have coming on later in today's program is an independent journalist based in Brooklyn. And it is just coincidental that I was in Albany yesterday because the New York State legislative body has a Black, Puerto Rican, and Asian caucus that gets together every year to deep dive on a number of different issues. So whether it's access to government funding or contracts, right? We talk about building generational wealth, whether it's advancing health equity, whether it's safety, and also immigration was a part of that conversation. And when she's on, I definitely will get some insights from her because I heard a solidarity, at least in New York, which is a northern state, about not complying with some of the immigration policies coming out of DC. But the reality is, when we think about those of us who are living here, it's not just about immigration. If you're living here, there are other things that impact you. That house that you bought and those property taxes and the schools that you send your children to, all of those things matter. And that's why it is so important for us to vote. What do you think about that, Mo?
Well, I know one of the things that get in the way of voting is registering. What I did when I lived in New Jersey is we have this big place that we go to party where everyone shows up. They may have worked like a dog the night before, but they show up at the party. And what we did was we told them that if you want to get in free, fill out your registration card. And we got so many cards. So you have to find a way to meet people where they are and give them a value so that they can see. Most people always want something for nothing, right? So we were able to do that. And I think we did it 3 times. And then I started traveling again. So, I think the danger that we have is sometimes we put, like, my brother said that people who have one job should take over. I had no jobs. But the moment I left, it just stopped. So you have to ask yourself, do people do things because they have a desire to, or they do things so that they don't look bad if they don't do it? So we have to get to a place in our lives where we truly want to see change. Very simple example. This year, I went to get 2 of my medications. One medication went from $10 to $1,423. The next one went from $45 to $246. So, again, I'm already feeling the impact of the changing in the Obamacare Affordable Care Act. I'm already experiencing it. What about someone that doesn't have that $1,400? And respectfully, pills for 30 days, $1,400, and you have your mortgage or your rent, you have your light, your gas, your everything else. With the new things that they're putting in place, everything's going up. So if we don't get together, it's going to be an issue. But the question is, do people want to get together?
Exactly. And getting past the point of, okay, yes, we know what the issue is, right? But what do we do about it? And as it relates specifically, to healthcare, what I find to be unfortunate, because on one hand, there are people who may say that on this show, we only lean one direction, and that's not necessarily true. I think we're responsive to what is put out there. And when it comes to healthcare specifically, I have not seen an alternative or a viable alternative presented to the Affordable Care Act as it stood before subsidies ran out. And so I'm curious what is going to be done, because it's starting to look like more and more we have to rely on our local and state leadership, because it doesn't seem like the federal agencies and government is able to respond timely to the needs of our communities across the nation.
Are they saying that we're leaning towards not being Republican? Is that what you're hearing?
Well, I would, yeah, I think people think that, and I'm someone, I am open-minded, and of course, I have my own network as a strategist that works with candidates and so forth. But I would love, to hear from people who may have a more conservative view. We're not hiding anywhere, right? So if there is someone out there, whether they are elected or a civic leader that is conservative, that has ideas that they think should be a part of the public discourse, I'm open to hearing it.
But I'm not a Democrat.
Right. Well, I hear you, but I think people assume that our views align with that persuasion of being democratic.
Hold that thought.
Sorry, Garfield.
Hold that thought. We're getting up on a break now, so we'll take a break, and then we'll come back in 5 minutes or so. Stand by. We're inside the Community Connection, live here on Roadblock Radio. We have Roslyn Smith, and of course Mo, and of course we have our guest joining. You'll hear from her after the break. Stand by. Roadblock Radio.
Girl, surrender. Can't hold no longer. This feeling's getting stronger. Little girl, remember when you come tomorrow. No holding back, girl. 100% I need your love tonight. If you could have deal some more, I ain't gonna stop until we finally set things right. No pulling back there. I need your love tonight. You could have used some more. I ain't gonna stop until we finally set things right. Ooh, no pulling back there. 100%. Give me all that you got. Hey, you could have used some more. I ain't gonna stop until we finally set things right. Hey, a little girl, don't you tease me. And if you know you can't please me, why don't you come on, release me? I'm feeling pain and I want you believe me. Girl, surrender. I can't hold no longer. This feeling's getting stronger. Remember when you come tomorrow. No holding back. Yes, Barry Sunderwood has to roll again. Yeah, back to the trails, man. The face can fight it. Yes, my feet get so tired from the soldiers to roam. My body is always overload. Yes, I need some fresh air. Let me rest for a while. Take a load off my feet before I do another mile. Counting days, the sun come by me, and as the rain come drench me. Just to get what I want, and all I want is a chance to live a simple life.
day with a smile. Boy, I'd like to get away from the slow, dusty road. My structure don't lie, it means every word. Oh, every now and then I get so close to tears, but giving up now would be wasting all these years. Oh, yes, I'm heading back to the trails. Oh, listen some more. I wanna move, but the forces won't let me. Every goal the system gets me. It's up to me to get what I want, 'cause it's been rough all these years, but I fight it through all my fears. Oh, good. Yes, I'm heading back to the trails, boy. Heading back to the old dusty road. Back to the old dusty road, yeah. Here I come again. Oh, dusty road, back to the old dusty road. Yes, my feet get so tired from the so dusty road. My body and soul is almost overload, yeah. Counting days the sun come by me, and then the rain come drench me, just to get what I want, and all I want is just to live a simple life, and each day with a smile. Boy, I'd like to get away from this old dusty road. My structure don't lie, it means every word. Oh, every now and then I get so close to tears, but giving up now would be wasting all these years. Yes, I'm heading back to the trails. Going back to the trails.
You already know.
WZMX HD3 Hartford.
93.7 FM Roadblock.
Gun show.
Home for Caribbean hits.
Feel good all over. Feel good all over. Feel good when you kiss my sweet lips. That passes down right through my soul. Ooh, feel good all over. I wanna jump and shout it. Tell the world all about it. Feel good when you kiss my sweet lips. That passes down right through my soul. Ooh.
And of course, let me say welcome back, everybody. We're inside the Community Connection, live here on Roadblock Radio, WCBS 101.1 FM. And of course, we are inside the Community Connection. We have Roslyn and our guest standing by to talk to you, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, just about 5 minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. So I turned it over to Roslyn again, once again, here inside the Community Connection. Hi, Roslyn.
Hi, Garfield. Thanks for bringing us back in. And I'm really excited about our next guest, who is an award-winning journalist and entrepreneur, Sarah R. Hendricks, better known as Bristol or News with B. She has more than 20 years of experience in broadcast and print media. She currently reports for the Canarsie Courier and leads her digital platform, News with B. delivering stories that connect public policy to everyday community life. She is no stranger to the radio, and I am ecstatic to have her on today. What is coincidental and what I love about just being at Roadblock and this forum in particular is how worlds overlap and come together. I had reached out to her a couple of weeks ago, and when I went to follow up with her, we discovered we were in the same place at the same time yesterday, which was Albany, for the New York State Black, Puerto Rican, and Asian Caucus weekend, right? Where legislators from across the state get together and we talk about a lot of different topics. And so I wanted to say first, and I know you as Bristol, so I'm going to say Bristol, welcome to the program. We ran into each other at the mayoral forum yesterday. Just what are some of your reflections in the context of the conversation that we've been having on air up until this point, whether it's about immigration, small business, healthcare, et cetera, just kind of based on also some of the insights we gained yesterday at that conference.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Roslyn, Roadblock Radio, and hello to all the other guests that are here that I see. And I think the one most important thing is that access to sharing communication is so easy and so important. I had a conversation with my best friend and I was like, Marcus Garvey didn't have the internet. He didn't have Facebook. He didn't have social media, Malcolm X, all the big leaders didn't have the amount of access to share information so easily as we do. So I think one of my biggest takeaways is that it's time for us to continue to make our voices heard. It's time for us to share what's happening to us. And it's time to really tap in. If you want to see things look different 5, 10, 15 years from now, and you not be washed out by AI or this or whatever, it's time for you to leave your print digitally on everything you do.
Absolutely. And if we break it down, going from Albany to Rockaway Parkway real quick, and some of the recent reporting you've been doing around small business, just tell us, just some of your insights recently, what you've been seeing as we all kind of respond to the larger economic uncertainty.
Yeah. Thank you so much for asking that question. I recently wrote an article in the Canarsie Courier that I didn't even think would rattle so many feathers, but we're losing businesses at a rapid rate in Canarsie on Rockaway Parkway, the last stop on the L train. Between November 2024 until today, we've lost about 6 businesses. So when you go down the Courier, which used to be bright, lights, everything, it's dark. We don't have restaurants have left. And I found out that Fisherman Cove's not just left the Rockaway Parkway location. Fisherman Cove was a jerk chicken spot. I don't know why they called it Fisherman Cove when they sold jerk chicken, but Fisherman's Cove, all of their locations in New York, in Brooklyn, are out of business. And Sugar Cane, a staple in Brooklyn on Flatbush Avenue, out of business. And then we've also had just so many different restaurants close within the corridor. And it goes back to what we learned yesterday from the Mayor's Forum, that Black business is about what he said, 5% of New York City. So you think there's a lot of Black-owned businesses or a lot of minority-owned businesses, but there's not. And what sadly is about to happen is the transition from small business owner to big box retailer, because big box retailers are the only ones that can sustain the rent that these landlords are charging. Because unfortunately, when the time for us to purchase these buildings was available, we did not take heed to that. I remember my dad, I grew up in an entrepreneurial household, so that's why I'm very passionate about small business owners. My dad had a business on Church Avenue and Nostrand in Brooklyn, New York. And there was a moment where the owner of the building was selling and he didn't pull the trigger. And ultimately, the rent was raised and he had to go out. But one thing I do notice a lot in our community, unfortunately, is we don't have succession planning. right? So it's not just one thing to start the business. You have to look to get this business fully profitable and cut the biggest liabilities as much, meaning cut the liability of, paying rent by getting a mortgage and paying off the mortgage. Those are the little things that we don't think when we think long term. A lot of times people go from self-employed to small business owner and they stay in that little nook and never turn over to investor, what they talk about in the the 4 quadrants of, it's a book, I'll send it to you. But
please,
we've got to go from self-employed, small business owner to investor. The investor doesn't do the day-to-day business. And unfortunately, we don't have succession planning. So without succession planning, you can see organizations like the Caribbean Chambers of Commerce. For like 3 years, they were dormant. There was no succession planning. There was no plan after the leader died, what to do next. So when you see companies close and business close, especially in this time, it only opens up the door for big box retailers who can pull profit from Florida to pay the rent in New York. And really quickly, in Rockaway Parkway, we used to have a rainbow on Rockaway Parkway outside of the L train. There's still a Rainbow in Seaview Rockaway Parkway, but Rainbow is actually located in East New York, Brooklyn. The headquarters is in East New York, Brooklyn, but they own that entire block. So if you ever go to East New York, Brooklyn, and you see the Rainbow on Pennsylvania Avenue, they own that entire block. So what happened? This is a little tea. When the owner of the building, the Rainbow on Rockaway Parkway across from the L train, found out that they are now renting to Five Below and Burlington on Pennsylvania, they doubled, quadrupled the rent on Rockaway Parkway. So Rainbow pulled out. They were like, listen, we don't need this store. We're going to pull it out. So now that building, it was a really large space. He cut it in two, and one side is bringing him $40K a month, allegedly. I'll just throw that out there. And now the other side can bring him another $40K. So that's what we're going to see, is that small business owners, they can't pay the rent. And I spoke with a few other small business owners who I won't say their names, but another big trend is that they fix up the location, they make it nice, and then landlord raises the rent another $5K. So you started off with a $6K rental agreement, and now you're looking at a $10K rental agreement. And that's what's tying up a lot of our small businesses.
Wow. Well, I want to cue in the fact that my co-host Patrick Reed has joined, and he also has another guest that he's going to be introducing to us. But really quickly, because you mentioned something key, right? And it's coincidental that last week we had a county surrogate on this program who talked about succession planning, not necessarily just in the sense of owning and passing down your business, but even, the personal things like, the home that you either own or live in, or your possessions, and making sure that we do the necessary paperwork. And then here is the fascinating thing about business in particular. I attended several MWBE workshops yesterday. And for those who don't know, that means minority woman-owned businesses. And there were panelists who are in charge of programs to give small business owners capacity. So for example, if you're a small business and you see a government contract, and maybe the payout for that contract is 30, 60, or 90 days. They kind of help you build your capacity so that you're able to pay people and have continuity of business till that contract is paid out. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself, because what they said consistently is, even though there are many programs in place to prop up our business owners, that people have to be prepared to show their diligence in their paperwork. So don't go, so the programs that are available, well, okay, but if you haven't filed your taxes, if you're not current on certain things, no matter the state of it, if you're not current, then you don't have that necessary paperwork to show to get the help that is available. And when you hear these numbers of, dollars that have been allocated to help small businesses, and the fact that I literally spoke to procurement officers who are almost begging members of our community to get engaged or take advantage of these opportunities, it hurts me, because I'm like, okay, yes, we know that we're in a challenging economic landscape, but when leaders, that some of whom look like us, are actually doing their job and they get those funds allocated to help us, how are we showing up to the table to take advantage of those opportunities?
Yeah, that's such a wonderful statement. As a SCORE mentor, now I've moved into being the marketing director for SCORE NYC. The biggest challenge I would have is that telling people you're not ready for business. I think so many of us like the idea of business, and I have my own business, but if you don't do your paperwork, you're not fully ready for business, and you're limiting yourself on opportunities that you could actually have. And it's okay to step back, take a job, reevaluate, and then come back to the table. It's okay to work while you have a business that's running, but you have to do business 101. And a lot of times we skip over that. And unfortunately, we don't have the ties and the connections as certain other groups to kind of slide you through that, right? We have to pay that black tax. Some communities just kind of like take your name and float you through the system. I remember I used to work in Jersey. No tea, no shade, no tea, no shade. And I would go to mansions of people who barely spoke English, but they had a community that knew how to slide them through. We don't have that luxury. You got to do the right thing. You got to put things in place. And the only reason why is we don't have enough people at the head of the table who can see the contract and just slide it through. We don't have enough of those. So it's very important that you analyze what you're doing and be honest with yourself. It may not be time for you to get into business. It may be time for you to go to associate's degree program and learn business and then come back to the drawing board. It may be time for you to go invest in some annuities and stack up some dough and then come back to this. But that's something that I see too often, is that people are not ready to be in business.
And so my co-host, Patrick Reed, actually, and keep me honest, Patrick, you run a chamber of commerce in New Jersey, correct?
That is why this conversation is so close, near and dear to my heart. I'm the immediate past president of the East Orange Chamber of Commerce. Let me big up Monique Lewis, who is the current president. And one of the things I have to tell you, I'm familiar with the Caribbean American Chamber of Industry and Commerce industry in New York, and you talk about lack of succession planning on how that hurts small business there. And as it pertains to the Chamber of Commerce, we are keenly involved at the moment in getting folks registered for these, minority women business enterprise certification, small business enterprise certification, because we recognize that a lot of our small businesses in communities of color like East Orange or Newark or even Brooklyn are not prepared for the billions of dollars that are out there for small businesses. Literally billions. So I encourage all small business owners to join their Chamber of Commerce. Why wouldn't I? Because that is where the depository of information is lying in most communities. All right, and we don't tend to join them. That is the sadness of it. We tend not to join them. Folks in our community get a few dollars, they open a business, and they go to work. It's not how it goes. There is a pattern, and there is a way of
recording stopped.
So you can position yourself to take advantage of your tax dollars that you're paying. And I keep telling people this. No one asks you to pay tax in this country. They tell you have to pay tax. But when you pay it, it's your job now to go back and get it. And the way you get it are through entities, organs such as the state, the federal, and local governments, right? But if you don't have their certification, you can't get a federal contract, you can't get a state contract. There are monies in our community in urban enterprise zone programs that are there for small business, and you can't get it if you cannot sign up for the UEZ programs. And why don't most people sign up? They don't have the paperwork in order, right? And so it's a phenomenon in our community. And so while we are struggling with all of these national challenges that are impacting our communities, maybe one of the things that we ought to do is to steady the ship, is to right the ship so that we can sail when it's just a little smoother. I know I have Georgia Riley in here, and Roslyn, let me just tell you, and Mo Garfield, I've been listening all program, and I didn't want to come on because it was so good. I didn't think I had anything to contribute to it, you know. But I want to thank you so much for an insightful program. But I do have, I know Mo wanted to say something, but I do have Georgia Wright Lane from Hartford, and she wanted to jump in and say a little bit about what's happening in the community, because I do want us to have a real community connection on this program. What's happening in New York? What's happening in New Jersey? What's happening in Hartford, Connecticut? What's going on in Pennsylvania? So, Georgia, what's your perspective on this issue that we're talking about? Then we'll get General Mo to come in.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. This is a very spirited conversation, and I was really just excited listening to it because I'm affiliated with the Urban League of Greater Hartford. I'm currently their small business program coordinator. And as you're talking about funding, I can hear what you're saying. What's the young lady's name? Is it Sarah? What's the
Bristol?
Oh, yes.
Yes, hi. I totally agree with what you're saying 100%, you know, because it has to do with community. If we don't have the community, then how do we find funding? And so the city of Hartford issued a grant about 2 years ago for small business owners in the city of Hartford. And the number one challenge that we have, given the money to these individuals, is paperwork. Paperwork is not in order, and we're spending weeks requesting paperwork. Hey, can you send this to us? This is great, but we also need that. And because when we start a business, right, and I'm speaking as an immigrant, I started a business 20 years ago. I didn't do the right thing. I just knew I had the passion, right, and the heart. But I didn't I'm a business major, but I didn't go to a class that said this is how you start a business, right? I didn't have the foundation, but I learned, and I had a desire to learn. And that was, I think, the difference maker for me, is that I had a desire to get it right. This grant that's being issued, that is available, of course, it's on a first come, first served basis, and you have to qualify for the grant. But a lot of people don't know about the grant because they're not tapped in, they're not plugged in, they're not associated with anything. So unless we go out there and tell them about this grant, yes, it was on the news, it was announced, but what about the people who are not watching the news, right, or reading the paper at the time that this grant was announced? So we currently have a challenge where we have these funds that we have to give to business owners, but either they're not qualified because they owe taxes to the city, or they have traffic violations and citations where they have unpaid tickets. You cannot get this grant if you have unpaid tickets and if you have unpaid taxes. So that's the two hindrance. In addition, you need to have the address of your business be in the city of Hartford. You need a tax ID number. You should have a DUNS number. A lot of small businesses in the city of Hartford don't have a DUNS number, or don't even know what a DUNS number is for the most part, because where does that education come? Who gives them that education? And so I'm going to get off my soapbox, but I just want to say that on the 26th of February, we've put together a program for those business owners where they can take a class, right? Attend a webinar, a seminar, where we're going to have a credit expert. His name is Stephen Robert, and he's going to come on and talk about the basics of personal credit. Oftentimes, right, as immigrants, we take our partner draw, a susu, right? We take monies from out of our retirement and we pay taxes on it. We take the IRA distributions. We borrow money from family members and friends, or we take our credit line, home equity credit line on our businesses to start our businesses. And then we have no cash flow. There's no cash being injected into those businesses. And so then, of course, as a result, those businesses have to close. So oftentimes the reason why businesses close is not because the product isn't good, the service isn't good. It's cash flow. You need money to get your supplies. You need money for payroll in order to sustain the business. And so this micro grant, it's not a whole lot. It's up to $5,000. But for anyone who is listening, if you own a business that is registered in the state of Connecticut with an address in the city of Hartford, you do business in Hartford, you can go to the website. It's www.ulgh for the Urban League of Greater Hartford, ulgh.org, and you'll get more information about that grant.
Thank you, Georgia. I appreciate your insights. And I think what you're speaking to is is the fact that, right, while the grant you mentioned is in Hartford, right, there's a lot of grants and programs out there. And if we just look for them, right, and put our best foot forward, we can access those things. So incredible insights from you. Bringing it back to Bristol, right, help us humanize this a little bit, because I know on this program, we have all this expertise and we talk about things abstractly and structurally, right? But just help us understand, based on your reporting and talking to people on the ground, what is the impact, psychologically on the community when businesses close?
Yeah, when you're in a community, thank you so much for asking that question. And thank you, Mo. I know Mo is waiting to say something, but I'll be able to just say this briefly. But when you start to lose business, you also start to lose hope, right? Because coming into an environment that's vibrant, that offers you a lot, gives excitement, and makes people want to keep coming. So in the case of Canarsie, I spoke with the Canarsie Merchants Association, and trying to get Canarsie to the Coney Island level, where it's a destination place. People know, like, oh, I can go there to get this. I can there to get that. But once you start to see the decline of a neighborhood, what it also does is that it brings down the emotion of the neighborhood, right? The neighborhood is like, oh, that's garbage. That's this. Sometimes I'll report from Canarsie, the Rockaway Parkway, and the comment section is, oh, I don't even go there anymore. So we get brain drain. And brain drain, for those who don't know, is that you have high impact, high level people that go outside of where you are. Jamaica has brain drain. There's no economy to sustain what needs to be done. So you have a lot of people in Canarsie who are wealthy, very wealthy. I know a lot of business owners who own companies outside of Canarsie, and they don't even shop the corridor because they're like, no, I can't. So it gives this emotional disconnect for those who live here, and it brings it to this place of like, yeah, I can't even go there. I can't do that. And we actually do need that. We need that money. We need you to shop where you live. We need you to be where you live so that this can grow even more. And then another paradigm, going back to my original statement, is we have a lot of business owners in Canarsie who are not from Canarsie, who don't look like us, right? So they cross the bridge from Jersey and they come to Canarsie, and it's cheaper for them here than Manhattan. And now they're running business. So when you go into, or we have Dominican organizations, and you go into the grocery store, something that I can get at Trader Joe or Aldi, like basic fresh fruit, is literally double the price. And I believe AM New York did it, or Gothamus. They went to several.
Hold your thought for a second. We're going to take a break and come right back, and then we'll chat it up on the other side, okay? Just don't go anywhere. And we'll get you in there when we come back as well.
All right, we're up at a break. Stand by, everybody.
Treat him right, Lord, treat your brother good. Take a tip from me, don't hang him on the tree. You should never give against another man. Oh, well, every man have an equal right to live and be free. No matter what color, class, or race he may be. Just remember, we are all one flesh and blood. Help your brother out, don't push him in the mud. You should never give against another man. That's not right yet. Oh, no, no. Oh, na 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 na, yeah. Oh, well. Oh, na 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 na, yeah. Every man have an equal right to live and be free. No matter what color, class, or race he may be. Treat him right, Lord, treat your brother good. Take a tip from me, don't hang it on the tree. You should never give against another man. That's not right, yeah. Every man have an equal right to live and be free, oh Lord. No matter what color, class, or race he may be, yeah. Every man have an equal right to live and be free, yeah. No matter what color, class, or race he may be, yeah. Every man have an equal right to live and be free. No matter what color, class, or race he may be. Treat him right, Lord, treat your brother good. Take a tip from me, don't hang him on the tree. You should never even date another man. Hold on now. Every man have an equal right to live and be free. No matter what color, class, or race he may be. Every man have an equal right to live and be free. Oh Lord, no matter what color, class, or race he may be. Yeah.
WZMX 93.7 HD3 Hartford.
When you're in love, it's a lovely life. When someone asks you to be his wife, it is so good for you to settle down. It doesn't pay for you to roam the town. When you find someone who is true to you, someone who'll do what you want to do. I said it's good for you to settle down. It doesn't pay for you to roam the It is so good for you to settle down. It doesn't pay for you to roam the town. When you're in love, it's a lovely life. When someone asks you to be his wife, it is so good for you to settle down. It doesn't pay for you to roam the I said it's good for you to settle down. It doesn't pay for you to roam the town. When you're in love, it's a lovely life. When you're in love, it's a lovely, lovely life. I said it's good for you to settle down. It doesn't pay for you to roam the
All right, let me say welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. We're inside the Community Connection live here on Roadblock Radio. We have Patrick Reed and, of course, Roslyn Smith. And, of course, we have all their guests standing by to give you some information on this Sunday afternoon right here on Roadblock Radio. So, Patrick, Roslyn, take it away.
Sure thing. Before the break, we were talking about the psychological impact of businesses closing in the community, and we have independent journalists, Bristol Hendricks, giving us some insight. We also have my co-host Patrick Reed, who was able to voice over his perspective as someone who's been engaged in the community for a really long time and even run various chambers of commerce. And so I just wanted to give Bristol an opportunity to finish her sentiments, because I'm glad that she was gracious enough to be with us this afternoon, and I want her to be able to go and enjoy her Sunday.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thanks for everyone for having me on the show. My final perspective is that if we don't start caring for our communities, no one else will, right? And when you start to see businesses close, it's time for you to put your foot on the neck of your leaders, right? You need to call your senators. You need to call your congresspeople. You need to call city council. There's money somewhere to make sure that this does not happen. Whether it's going back to the basics, as we said before, business 101, whether it's engagement, whatever it is, now more than ever, especially what's happening on a national landscape, you have to keep your foot on the neck of the people you hired to help you. Senate isn't there for no reason. Assembly isn't there for no reason. City council isn't there for any reason. And now more than ever, just basically showing up is starting the process. I talk a lot about, I've been at my community board now for 2 years, and it's just showing up. You don't even know what's coming. At the community board, you're going to find out who's asking for licensing. You're going to find out what businesses are trying to get into the area. Now more than ever, you need to show up for the community you call home, and make sure no one comes in and reorients it and then starts to, what is it called? Regentify it, and you don't even know what home is. We're too smart, we're too able, we're too available to let something like that happen. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. And how can we stay in touch with you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on every platform. It's News, NEWS, with WITHB, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, every platform. It's the same name. You can send me an email if you have a tip or a story. If anything you want to share, you can send it to newswithb@gmail, NEWSWITHB@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm sure this won't be the last time that we get together on this platform. All right. Thank you.
All right,
Bristol.
awesome.
Certainly won't be. Certainly
Awesome.
won't be. I look forward to having conversations with you, because I love what you're doing, and just keep on doing it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Jerome, you're salivating. You're chopping at the bit to jump in, man. Go for it. Thank you very much.
No, it wasn't that. I was actually going to ask Ms. Bristol if she meant the four. Now it's gone from my head. Robert Kiyosaki, the 4 quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki, because she started the conversation. You needed a 4, and she said she didn't remember right now. But I think that may be the book she's talking about, because that's what we've used for business for like the last 20 years.
Yeah,
the 4 quadrants with Robert Kiyosaki. No, I loved what I've been hearing so far today. When you're that good, I just shut up and listen.
Well, Georgia, you are doing some phenomenal things up there in Hartford. Hartford is a community that is a big history, big migrant community, big Jamaican community, Caribbean community up there. One of the first Caribbean, I would say, community centers was established in Hartford by farmers who come up from Jamaica.
Yeah.
75 or almost 80 years ago, the Caribbean, I forget what's the name of the Georgia, the big Caribbean organization up there in Hartford, and we in some cases, I think it's an example that we should follow to galvanize our community. But we don't seem to be able to do it across the tri-state area, and the Caribbean Social Club has been there galvanizing the community around business, around culture, around all kind of great stuff. And we don't have a Caribbean Community Cultural Center in New York State, in New York City. We don't have one in New Jersey. We don't have one in Georgia. I don't know what we're waiting for, because in challenging times, we forget that it's our unity. It's coming together. Marcus Garvey taught us this. I'm so upset about, when I say Marcus Garvey, I get upset. I live in the city of Newark, East Orange, and Newark is right around me. New York City. Where's our Marcus Garvey centers of excellence? Where's our Marcus Garvey schools? I mean, we're not transferring that that vibe, that knowledge, that intention into our community as we ought to. And maybe these challenging times is a kick in the butt for us to continue to do that. And Georgia?
Well, you have a good point. I would like to touch on the name of that book before I address that. I believe it's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, the 4 quadrants. I refer to that a lot because I feel like that has helped me a lot in business to not major in the minor and not minor in the major, right? But to answer, to address what you mentioned, the name of the organization is the West Indian Social Club. And what I believe will happen, I believe that if we, the younger generation, when I say the younger generation, you have the foundation members, right? Some of those members, I don't want to get in trouble, but I'll throw a couple of names out there like Mr. Leslie Perry and Hugh Freeney. And, there's some gentlemen who I know, and they were a part of the original, the foundation of the West Indian Social Club. What we are missing oftentimes is community, right? And it's not just community that's just created and just kind of left to maintain itself. The children of those members should join. The younger generation, in order for these communities to stay fledgling, right, and vibrant, and then we'll see that transcend into the businesses, you have to inject youth into it, right? I mean, think about it. Like, we're in our 50s. I don't know about you, and we have to start training the next generation. Some of us, we kind of hold on to the power, and we hold on to the connections and the influences that we're not equipping, we're not mentoring, and we're not passing the baton. And so because it's not stressed, right, that we should have that community, we either don't maintain it or we never create it. So yes, we do have the West Indian Social Club here. You might not see that in New Jersey, but you could have been the one to start it. You might be the one to start it because you see a need for it. You see how that goes? Yes, we see that we need community because we see other ethnicity. They come to the country, they live together, they work together, they build together, and they keep the dollars. And that's another thing. They keep the dollars within the community,
circulating,
right?
Yeah.
Right? But we go online and we buy from everyone and anyone, and we don't let that dollar circulate in the community. Statistics are showing that when the African American or African, this for lack of a better word, say an African or Black person, get $1, there's a study that show how fast the dollar leaves the community. Meanwhile, other ethnicity and other nationalities, they show you how the money circulates, right? It just circulates in that community and it stays in that community, and that's what builds up the community.
And Georgia, I fear that with this, that's even more taking the money outside. So we have to be more vigilant and conscious about what business we're buying from. It's so easy to buy from Amazon or one of those big box stores, as was mentioned.
Guilty.
But do you look for the African American business online? You look for the that cultural association when you're purchasing your goods. It's a challenge that we have, that we really have to find a way to overcome that, so we can make our way. Right the ship, to speak. The ship is rocky.
Yes.
Very rocky. And we got to get it right, man. So, your point is what?
I want to say something, and this is what I'd like to encourage everyone to do. Whenever I go to an event, whether it's a conference or a church event or, just anything where I see small business owners, I tell myself I'm going to spend some money with them. Even if I don't need what they have at the moment, whether it's a lady there with some shea butter, I'm going to get some shea butter. Whether it's soap, I'm going to buy soap. Whatever it is that I see, I will myself, whenever I go to an event, to spend dollars with my people. And a lot of times, many of us, we walk past them. If we're going to a concert, we go right into the concert. When the concert is over, we leave. Even during intermission, you don't see anyone supporting those businesses. So it's like, it takes us to make a difference. It's like we're expecting like a genie to just swoop in and just save the businesses and help the communities, but we ourselves, we're not supporting the businesses in our community. And also, we drop the ball. Some of us business owners, we're not punctual. Sometimes we don't offer good customer service. We say people don't support us, but you're unprofessional. If a product is defective, you're not willing to take the product and replace it. the burden of proof is now on the consumer. So there are a lot of different things that we could talk about, how we can, a lot of things that we can address today, but we don't have time, about how we can effectively, grow and, support each other.
Absolutely.
Miss Georgia, there is a little issue that also goes along with this. We spend so much time in other communities, we get a really colonial mindset.
True.
Very simple example. I've taught a certain skill for almost 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you have family members that would come to me and say, well, can you give me a discount on what you're teaching?
Yes.
And I would say, well, if you care about me, you would want me to eat. Now, I'll give you a simple example. $500. Let's say it costs $500. The same family member took $10,000 out of their 401k to try to learn the same thing I was teaching. Once the $10,000 was gone, the person of that other complexion disappeared. And then guess what? Came back to me and asked me again, well, I'm in a birth situation. Can you give me a discount? We don't ask for a discount because we keep trying to show people how much we have when we don't, because we aren't respectful enough of the quality of the people that we do business with.
True.
I don't feel any way about it. It's just, you see it enough. I've done this for 20 years. And you see, we have such a colonial mentality that it gets in our way sometimes. And I agree with you 100%. If you have a social setting where we get to see people like us doing more, we're more likely to follow that bend. But I've been in this country for 30 something plus years. And sometimes it's a little disappointing. But you know what? I look at what the young people are doing, and the younger folk, 18, 19, 20, they get it.
Yeah.
People our age, not so much.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Good point. I'm a business owner, and I'll tell you, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I go through it. If someone wants to do some business consulting with me and I send them an invoice, it takes them a while to pay that invoice, but let someone else send it. My counterpart, they pay it in no time because they don't want them to think they don't have the money. But where we're concerned, they're going to talk us down. They're going to ask for a discount. It's going to take a little bit longer because they don't value what we have unless we're giving it to them for free,
My question always, and I'm sure Roslyn will join me on this, is what then? What do we do then? Solutions are the key to solving we have to have solutions, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think the learning curve is what we have to go around. That's why I joined the Chamber of Commerce many years ago. That's why I sought to lead it, to learn as much as I can, to impart as much knowledge. So I want to encourage our young entrepreneurs to join these organizations, because let me just give you an example. In Essex County, where I am, in East Orange is an urban center just adjacent to Newark, the largest city in the state of New Jersey, which is a majority minority community. And then around East Orange is West Orange, Montclair, Bloomfield, a lot of very opulent, more above average communities that, there's a lot of wealth there. Don't you know that they have formed a suburban Essex Chamber of Commerce around East Orange and North? East Orange is not invited to the table. They formed a North Jersey Chamber of Commerce around East Orange. On the other side of East Orange was not invited to the table. Or Orange or Newark. And Newark, the largest city, does not have a Chamber of Commerce. And yet, when you look at what they're doing, they are sharing resources, sharing information, training one another. They're bringing resources. And I think we have to be smart. We have to open up our eyes and see what it is that we need. Mm-hmm. Because now you have gentrification and redevelopment of $2.5 billion in East Orange, $1.5 billion in Orange, and a number of billions in Newark. And they're coming back to the community, right? So many of our businesses are being displaced, and so we have to look at what is happening. We have to have a sort of an incubator mentality to teach ourselves and teach those who want to get into business what to do, how to do it right, so that we get the monies from the SBA programs and the UEZ programs and get the certifications that Ross talked about to make sure we're ready. We are ready to do business. We are ready and able to get the monies to build and sustain our businesses. This has been a tremendous, tremendous program, Ross. I can't tell you. I have an award I'm preparing for you for this program.
Oh, really?
This is what we need to do. You can't have folks abusing us in Minnesota and Chicago and all over the place. You go to Los Angeles and San Francisco, there are so many homeless people on the street out there in Seattle, Washington. And then we let this stuff pass and we don't galvanize even quietly and say, hey, when this cloud clears up, when this storm settles, we're not going to be way in the back of the bus or on our knees. We have got to come out. Let them fight. Let those who want to fight. Let's do our due diligence and our work, and so that we are on our feet when it's all said and done. Not true?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Patrick.
Okay, that's what I like. You see, agreement. All right. Hey, guys.
On one accord on this big.
Absolutely. Now, Georgia, I'm happy to have you in here, and I invite you to come back as often as you'd like, because we want the perspective from across the tri-state area. We've got Mo down there in Georgia, and Mo, I want you to put your ears to the ground and see what's happening on the ground in Georgia, especially in Atlanta, so we can bring it to the nation and the world, indeed, on roadblockradio.com. So folks know that we are actually mobilizing in our communities. I know Roslyn's got New York City covered. Roslyn, I made a commitment at the beginning, before the year was over, that there has to be the birth of a Jamaica organization of New York. And I committed to myself that February will not end before we sit down and start that organization. Why? Because as our guest was saying, there is a disjointedness about how we do things in the great city of New York. Right? No, she mentioned the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce and Industry was a tremendous entity, but when the founder died, it just dissipated. And just trying to get it back up now, but it's a challenge. We need a cumulative effort, a unified effort, as Garvey did when he came here. Right? We need an organization that everybody buys into and commits to. That's revolving around a few very simple and singular purposes, so it's not difficult. So we're gonna raise capital, and that capital will be used to do a few things that we define and commit to. So Johnny is on his knees now, Roslyn, but we're gonna put the paperwork together, and I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call George. I'm gonna call Mo. I'm gonna call our guests. We're gonna call folks and get folks involved, because we are the community connection, and that's what we do. Not true?
Yes, but I have a question for you though. If it's called John Jay now, once it starts moving to other states, don't we lose an acronym there?
There's already a John Jay in New Jersey, Jamaica Organization of New Jersey. I'm a founder of that 28 years ago. There's no Jamaica Organization of New York, Johnny. We need Johnny to stand up. Johnny's got to stand up. And then we got to go JOPA down in Pennsylvania, Jamaica Organization of Pennsylvania. We've got to go. There's no Jamaica Organization of Connecticut. No jock. We've got to get jocked up and running as well, man. We need our community. If only the Jamaican community stand up, then all the other communities can see as an example. Hey, let's join that force and make it a Caribbean effort. I believe in a Caribbean effort. But man, to get us all on one page is rough. So I'm going to do an example and see. Most of Guyanese, he knows how difficult that is, man. Why you guys so tough, bro? I don't get it, man.
Hey, Patrick, can I just put a little plug in here? The Urban League of Greater Hartford will be hosting a credit seminar for small business owners, because small business owners, we need to know about personal credit. Oftentimes we can't get funded because our personal credit is derogatory, right? And so that's going to be on the 26th. At 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. There will be an Eventbrite for that, where individuals can register and they could just go on Eventbrite and look it up. It's going to be with the Urban League of Greater Hartford. So thank you for that.
Well done. Roslyn, take it out. It's your show.
Oh my goodness. It is our show, and it is the community show. And we are going to continue to voice over resources, knowledge, and information like what our sister Georgia just shared that's going to move us forward. So I just want to thank everyone for listening on this beautiful afternoon. And I pray that you all have a blessed week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Garfield, the cool one. Garfield, what are you hiding, man? I haven't heard from you all the program.
I'm here. I'm listening to the meetings of the mind. Yeah.
I tell you, you're so cool, man. I wish I could do what you do, my brother. I thank you so much for your contribution to this program each and every week. Really appreciate you. And thank you, Brother Mo. Always, man.
Anytime.
All right. Garfield, take it away, man. You've got the con.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us here inside the Community Connection. That's host Patrick Reed and Roslyn Smith. And of course, they have all their guests, Mo and Georgia and Sarah, join us earlier on today. And so we are going to be ending the program shortly. And Finta Troy is up next with the Vintage Showcase. He'll be here at 4 o'clock until 6. Until then, we take a Bob Marley to take us out here on Roadblock Radio. That's it for the Community Connection. Join us next week. We'll be back at 2 o'clock until 4.
I even touch the sky above the falling rain. I feel so good in my neighborhood, so here I come again. I got to have Kaya.